Welcome back, y'all, and happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. This is the Bluechip Breakdown, and I'm your host, Bull. Today's video, this stream is going to be a lot shorter. We just want to go through and give you some updates on all the players that came up on their OVs. Y'all, please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Let me know if you're seeing any technical difficulties with the stream, because I'm saying that the internet's not great. I have no idea what's going on with that. Chat's word, thank you so much for joining us, and y'all are welcome to chime in to the conversation. So I want to go on ahead and pull this up real quick. I think, listen, Tennessee did a great job with the players that we had come up for their OVs this weekend. We have everything. Everything is color coordinated here. All the dark green, that's the players that I feel like Tennessee's now in first place for. We've got a couple of different other colors or other shades of green, like Tristan Givens. I think Tennessee's tied for first place with A&M. Then for Zion Gibson, I think Tennessee's second place. The players in white, I think Tennessee's in third place for. The players in orange, they already chose Tennessee. I think that Tennessee is locked in with them. And then that last player in red just means that I don't think Tennessee has a very good shot with them. So we'll start off with Tristan Keys. I know everyone wants to talk about him. Number one, man, I honestly, this is just me personally, I feel maybe a little bit worse coming out of this OV than I did heading into the OV. He just didn't sound like he was blown away with the visit to Tennessee necessarily. Now, he's been here several times. We talked about Tennessee was his number one school for a long time. But right now, I think that it is LSU and Miami. That's probably his top two at this point. And I'm going to go ahead and pull up his clips. But it's a couple of things with Tristan Keys that I think that you know, at least for me, that I look at, that I'm paying attention to as he's taking these visits. Him and his mom. Coming out of any visit, one of the things that they talk a lot about is getting ready for the NFL. Tennessee's system for wide receivers is not great for that. I'm just going to call a spade a spade. That's just what it is. It's not great. Now there is a possibility that maybe, NFL teams will start to do some more college stuff. If they do some more college stuff where there's a lot more option routes, you'll run some option routes in the NFL. I think that we'll run pretty much every route inside of the route tree. That could change, but obviously it's probably not going to happen quick enough for Tristan Keys to choose us if that's one of his top things. I think that LSU would be his best option for that. They run a pro style offense. They're going to run the entire route tree. The operation for the wide receivers is going to be very similar to the NFL, not 100%, but it's going to translate a lot better. And this is not really coming from me. This is coming from what the NFL teams are picking. If you look at guys, if you look at some of our more recent players like a Dante Thornton is 6'5", runs a 4.3 flat 40 on a laser. He should have been a first-round draft pick. He wasn't, and a big part of the reason for that is because of Tennessee's system. So that hurts us, but I also think that really the biggest thing is probably going to be money. It's going to be NIL. It's going to be the rev share, the total package. Now, what we know is that LSU has deep pockets. Tennessee has deep pockets too, but Miami's pockets are totally different. I think that for LSU and for Tennessee, we're talking about anywhere from probably like 5 to 10 players. Those two programs could be their top bidders, but for the U, they could be the top bidder for every single player on their roster. It's just different. And the reason I'm saying that, not to paint a bad picture of Tristan Keys, I've never met him. I don't know him, but he comes up on campus with a Louis bag on. That bag was probably like $10,000. He's got some Hollywood to his personality. Miami might fit what he wants to do the most. I think that that's the team that we have to watch out for. I still feel like he doesn't end up at LSU, but I just think that there's some things that are working more in their favor than it is for Tennessee at this point. Again, I could be totally off. I hope that I am totally off, but it just kind of feels like he didn't have a lot of – I just didn't feel that vibe coming out of the visit that he was definitely going to be choosing Tennessee. I didn't feel that. Again, I hope that I'm wrong, but I'm just telling you what I felt. So I don't know. I mean, Tennessee could end up being Tristan Keys' highest bidder, but if you come back and if you look at this list, look at how good Tennessee's doing with all these other players. We got to spread that money out. For some of the smaller programs, then, yeah, they could probably allocate some more revenue sharing funds to one player and not so much NIL. But we're talking about big boys. This is all big boy stuff. The rev sharing is going to be about the same, more than likely, for all these teams. The NIL is what's going to set it over the edge. I don't know, will Tennessee do it, because we got to spread those funds out for this entire class. I love Tristan Keys. I think that he could definitely help this team out in a very, very major way. If we add him, that's huge. If we don't, I don't think it necessarily breaks this class. You could add some other very good wide receivers, but adding good players everywhere, I think that that's probably going to be more beneficial for Tennessee. So the next player that we'll talk about is going to be Jax Tanner. So he's from Idaho. Right now, I think Tennessee's in third for him as well. So it sounds like Oregon's probably number one. This is based off of the insiders. I got that from VolQuest. And then it sounds like BYU, he might be a Mormon. heard that he wants to take like a little mission trip after high school. I don't know how long that's going to last, maybe a year or two. So he wouldn't really even be in this class if it's the way that I'm seeing it. But I think he said some great things about Tennessee. For all these kids, whether Tennessee's in the first place, second place, third place, whatever, understand that we're splitting hairs here. Like we're getting down to the nitty gritty. So it's not a whole lot of separation with that situation. With Jax, I don't know. I think that Tennessee might be more on the outside looking in, but just slightly. Very, very good player. Let's come on up and let's talk about Iverson Garcia. So I really like his game. Okay, this is a D tackle. Tennessee needs D tackles. We talk a lot about that. I'm going to go ahead and pull up his clips here as soon as I can find them. But he's an in-state guy, listed as a 3-star with both of the sites. Hopefully, y'all did notice that we had 24/7 sports star rating and on 3-star rating. I want for y'all to see it because I feel like on 3, like if we close out for a lot of these players that I feel like Tennessee's in first place with right now, it's going to make a bigger, more positive impact for on 3 than it will for 24/7 sports. Y'all know that I take it with a grain of salt, but watching him play 3-star, please stop it. I mean, he's very good. He's very, very good. I think that he could play maybe any tackle technique, stop and run 100%. He can do that. But the pass rush, that twitchiness that we're going after now, it's a different level. It's going to be a major problem for the way that we run our defense. We like to get vertical. Sounds like he, loved all those things. And I want to say that he actually came out and said, hey, Tennessee is my number 1 program. I would expect that sooner rather than later, he's going to end up with this team. Okay, I think that is coming. So let's come on back and let's talk about the next player. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's the second guy. He's the cornerback. Has good size, 6 feet tall, 171 pounds. For me, he looks like he's a little bit bigger, might be over 180 at this point. But I think Tennessee's number 1 for him as well. I don't have his clips up. One thing that I want to say very quickly about him is he can maybe play safety for us. I think just in watching his film, he can do it. Now, whenever we talk about the secondary, they're always going to be very versatile. But I'm typically saying, hey, they can play outside corner or they can play inside corner, which would be star for us. And if they could play safety, push comes to shove, if we get into a bad situation like we're walking into this season, all these guys could do it. But I think that he could come in and he could definitely really for real play some safety based off of his weight. But I love his game, love his skills. Tennessee's in first place for him. I would not be surprised if he ends up choosing Tennessee. Y'all can see also the teams that are maybe second place, third place along with Tennessee. Or second or third place to Tennessee, or who Tennessee is, second place to, third place to, so on and so forth. So next player is going to be JJ Finch. Love his game. Okay, this is a 3 technique. He talked about playing the 3. He's a stud. I don't care what he's rated. He is a stud. Love the simple fact that it felt like coming out of this visit, Tennessee's number 1, but he goes to Miami next weekend. What did we just say about Tristan Keys? That money that could play a factor. That could end up changing some things. But as of right now, I think Tennessee is number 1. So I've got him in here. We'll go ahead and pull up his clips. Same thing that we talked about. Same thing that we will talk about really with all these linemen. They're versatile and their pass rush. He's got some pass rush moves. Very, very twitchy. I would love to add him. He's one that's high up on my board. I think that if Tennessee can, or if we need to, let's find some extra funds to allocate to him, because I think that he's a guy that could come in as a freshman and be pushed into play. Now, I think he said he was at 280 something on this OV. He can easily get up to about 300 pounds, which is what we want our tackles to be playing at. But as a 3 technique, he's a future NFL player. I'm seeing that's written all over him. Here, you're going to see him drop back into coverage. Watch this here. This is a goal line situation. The coaches aren't calling this. You don't call for your tackle to drop into coverage. He's just a daggone baller. He can catch. He is a tremendous athlete. Tennessee's in a great spot for him. We should all feel great about that. Now, let's come on back and let's talk about the next player, who's going to be TJ White. Now, we told y'all coming out of yesterday's video that his picture, as soon as he gets up on campus, didn't look great, but P and I said it's probably just a bad picture. We said that after they sit down on Sunday, talk about the money portion of it, you'll see him all smiles. His energy level is going to change significantly, and it definitely did. Even the insiders at On 3, they said that Tennessee made a big push for TJ White. So 4-star linebacker, obviously he can do a lot of very good things for this team. As I've watched this film, as I'm looking at his frame, I really think that he could play some hand in the dirt type of edge rusher too. It just really think he's listed like 220 now. He'd have to gain a whole lot of weight. So maybe more of a stand-up Leo sort of a player. I love him as a just stand-up linebacker, like a middle linebacker. You said that that's what the staff sees him as. Coach Inge is doing a phenomenal job. Brandon Rouse is going to be up next weekend. You know, all these, like, we are bringing in some studs. Our defense is going to be crazy, but I love his game. I love everything that I'm seeing from him. And I'm going to go on to this next player, and that's going to be JB Shabazz. He's another one. Listen, Planet tackle, 6'7", about 300 pounds. He's rated as a 3-star with 24/7 with On 3. He's a 4-star guy. Tennessee's number one for him, I think, at this point. All smiles. Him and TJ White, all smiles. Love him. Okay, he's a tremendous athlete. I think that we want to move more towards the offensive lineman that can move, that can be more mobile, that can run that outside zone, those stretch plays. That's another element to Tennessee's offense that I think is going to help us out moving forward. But he's a guy I see as a potential NFL player, maybe even a potential first-round draft pick. I think that he fits our style of play so well. If he gets up here with Coach E, he can end up being a first-round draft pick. I think that he's got that sort of a ceiling. So that one is huge. He's super good. I was blown away in watching his film. So next is going to be Legend Bay. I now have him listed as a wide receiver, was as an athlete. Tennessee wants him to play wide receiver. You see his size and all that type of stuff. Talked about him lining up in the backfield, playing some running back, being a gadget piece, throwing the football. Again, another element to us stepping up and adding to our current system with our offense. He's going to be really, really good. He's number one, or Tennessee's number one for him at this point. I think that we end up landing him too. Next player is going to be big old Albert. I love him. I told y'all. He's actually teammates with TJ White. We're going to pull up his clips here. But really, really good tackle. This is him here. So for him, I had to go to On 3 to get his visits and all that type of stuff, just because 24/7 Sports didn't have much. So he's going to Mississippi State. I think this weekend he is from Mississippi. UNC, that's another one that's definitely up there. I think pretty close, but he came out and flat out said, hey, Tennessee is my number one school. I think that we land him and his high school teammate, TJ White, bring them on home. Defense takes a big step forward. Blown away by his twitchiness, by his pass rush moves. You don't really see that from these bigger guys. I think he's more of like that nose technique, like zero technique, one technique. But I think that he could do some different things. Very versatile. And yeah, this would be huge. He's another one. I think we add him. He comes in as a freshman. He can push to get some real meaningful snaps for our team. That's what we need. Okay, like we need to add guys like that. So next, who's the next guy? So we got Brody Smith. So Brody Smith actually played middle school basketball with my nephew Bray. I know that he is a big Tennessee fan. He actually talked about that with his interview. He said, hey, my pops played there, but he's not necessarily pushing me to go there. He didn't come out and say, hey, Tennessee's my number one program, but I just from, kind of like, knowing their family and things like that, I know that Tennessee probably is number one for him. This is a situation that if he doesn't choose Tennessee, that's on the staff, okay? Like, I feel like if they show him the proper love, then he will come to Tennessee. And understand something, y'all, okay? Understand that he's one of these guys that we keep on bringing up as far as offensive linemen that are a little bit more lean, right? Like you want the offensive linemen that are more lean. Why? Because you can add the proper weight. The same thing that we keep on talking about with David Sanders. Add the proper weight. You can move well. That's what we have to – that's what we're doing. These are like NFL caliber offensive linemen that can do a lot of different things. I see him only rated as a 3-star. I think he's definitely underrated. I see him being one of those players too. I'd be shocked if Tennessee lets up off the gas and lets him go somewhere else. I think that he ultimately will end up with our Tennessee Volunteers. Not because his pops came here or, went here, but because that's the best place for him. So next player is going to be Tristan Givens. Love him. Okay, we talk a lot about Tristan Givens. For me, out of all the players that is still left on Tennessee's board, he's like way up at the top for me personally, because as a Leo, y'all can see that he's going to be choosing the school on Monday. He's visiting A&M this upcoming weekend. I think that Tennessee's tied with A&M, but as a Leo, his skill set is crazy. I think that his first step and his straight line speed, very similar to like a James Pierce, but where he's better at than James Pierce at this point coming out of high school is his actual pass rush moves. James Pierce still doesn't really have a whole lot of pass rush moves. Has the highest pressure rate last season out of all, FBS edge rushers and all of that, but he didn't close as much as he could have. I think that Tristan Givens is a player that will be able to do it. P and I talked about his frame, listed at like 215, 220, right now at about 6'4", 6'5", very long, very, very lean. He easily will. I think that his freshman year, he's going to be about 240, 245. He could be a guy that could play over 250 just based off of his frame, and he's not going to miss a beat. He's I think, almost a lock to be a first-round draft pick. He's got everything, especially if he comes to Tennessee. But for me, it's kind of like bad timing just because he's going to A&M this upcoming weekend, and then he is going to choose a school on that Monday. So might just be more fresh for him that, man, A&M just saw them, love it, come off of that visit high, might end up choosing them. But I think this is another player. If Tennessee has some extra funds, or if we need to find some extra funds, then you do it. Make sure that we add him. We have to add him. For me, he's a must-have. Very, very good player. I'm going to take a quick little break from this real quick and try to get to these chats just to catch up. So this one right here, okay, saying that I don't think LSU is going to let him flip. Hey, you could be right. I hope that that's not true. I would love for him to come to Tennessee, but I would hate for him to stay in the SEC either way. Saying that you don't think that he's coming to Tennessee could be right. Okay, I hope that we're both wrong. And saying that this class is full of 3 stars. And man, you know what? You said a whole bunch of negative stuff. All right, you said too much negative stuff. This class is not just full of 3 stars, and it doesn't even matter if they are rated as a 3-star, because guess what? Our roster last season, out of the teams that made it to the playoffs from the SEC, our roster on paper was nowhere near theirs. Nowhere near it. Okay. As a matter of fact, our roster was nowhere near Oklahoma's. Oklahoma had a much better roster on paper than Tennessee did. We went to Oklahoma and beat the brakes off of them. Right. So understand the star rating stuff. Don't just live and die by that. We have a really good staff that understands what fits our system, what fits our needs. We're going to be fine. I'm not even too much worried about those star ratings. All right. So next is for my dog, David. What's going on, bro? Saying that I think Legend Bay is definitely our best chance of a top wide receiver unless Joel Wyatt chooses offense. Well, you know what? I mean, we already got King, don't we? I mean, listen, he's a daggum star now. Okay. I think that he's better than Legend Bay is, for me personally. I think that he is. He's a local guy. Let's not sleep on what we already have. We're going to be fine. Okay. Now, I would love for us to add one more player for sure. One more wide receiver. One more good one. I think that we need to do that. But we might still end up adding 2. There's some other names out there. You know, I think some wide receivers are coming up next week too. So this was also saying that Bryson Eason was a 4-star linebacker. Yep, who morphed into a tackle. So could TJ White. That's a good point. I don't know how Bryson Eason gained that much weight where he was able to do that, but yeah, I mean that's definitely true. It could most definitely happen. But I think that shows what Tennessee's doing with our players, because Bryson Eason, for me, he's a 5-star tackle. He's going to be a first rounder, y'all. So that's what we do with the talent that we bring in. And Greg is saying that I think we need of these young folks and the way that, for sure, a blazing UTK logo to be used at times. Yeah, I think that I think personally that we do a pretty good job with all the media stuff. I've seen a whole lot, and I've seen this from almost every major school now. They're talking about the 2027 class. So they have different graphics out there. If y'all on social media, y'all will see it. But I think that Tennessee's graphics was, just as good as anybody else's, if not better than everybody else's. Let me get to this one right here too. And then we're going to keep on going. Okay, so this one right here, I think that we already got to that. Okay, so kind of push you on par with LSU or USC. Yeah, I think that we're doing a better job than. So SC's landing a whole bunch of players, right? And let me see what P's saying here. So LSU, or not LSU, but USC, they have a whole bunch of players already with their class, but a lot of people are kind of flipping from USC too. I know what they're doing. They're paying a lot of money to these players. They're, paying them just to come up on visits and all of that, which is why you're seeing so many players that are leaving from their programs. But as far as everything else, I think Tennessee is on par with anybody else, honestly speaking. And so P saying that Easton was a jumbo backer, stepped on campus at about 260 as a true freshman. See, I didn't even know that, but that's why I actually wish that P was on this stream with me. But yeah, if you come up at 260, you're pretty much gonna have your hand in the dirt. But let's keep on moving. Let's go ahead and get through this thing. So we just talked about Givens. Let's talk about Zion Gibson. So 4-star cornerback, very, very highly rated player. He chose Bama, and he said that he's still locked in with Bama. I don't know, man. I think that if you look, always try to look, and let me go back. Always try to look at the players, or always try to look from the players' lens of what they're looking at. If you look at Alabama's current roster with their cornerbacks, they're loaded with a bunch of young talent. Like they've got a bunch of guys that should for sure be NFL players. They've got 2 or 3 that are almost locks for the first round. It's going to be tough for him to see the field early there. If he comes here, we're losing probably 2 first-round cornerbacks from our current team. And, we'll probably have 3 guys end up getting drafted. So it's a lot more open for him to have an opportunity to actually play. What about revenue sharing? What about NIL? I mean, with NIL, Tennessee pays more than Alabama does. You know what I'm saying? I would say on average. So it's pretty much everything. I think Tennessee's crossing off all those boxes. I don't even know why it's even still a question. Like Alabama really, I don't know why he wants to go there, honestly speaking. Maybe he just grew up as a big Alabama fan. I don't know, but I think that the door is still open. Tennessee could flip him. He's another one. Versatile inside guy, outside guy, playing on defense inside of the secondary. Could maybe even grow into a safety for you. I could see that with him too. We got to watch all the secondary players that come in. Who can play safety? Who can play safety? Because we need to add some guys that can help us out right now. But for the cornerbacks, he's huge. You saw Coach Heupel, walking around with him personally, because Coach Hype knows that we need help at corner. That's not a shot at the young guys up there, but we need to add as much depth as we possibly can, because the door is kind of open, right? So how many good guys can you bring up is going to that's going to help us out for the 2026 season, 2027 season as well. So now I still don't have faith that we can land Keys, but who knows? If he does flip, I think that this Faison and Tristan combo could be deadly 100%. I mean, they are close, and it sounded like Keys kind of downplayed it. It was like, well, me and him are pretty close. I think that the staff's doing a pretty good job. That's why I'm saying that I don't feel like Tennessee is in first place, but I'm not sure. All right, so let's go on to the next one. Who else do we have here? Okay, so you know what? That is actually it. With everyone that's already part of this 2026 class, I don't know that Zach Groves actually came up. He might be next weekend, but it said everywhere that he was coming up this weekend. Not sure, but obviously Faison's locked in. I think that Groves is also locked in. And then CJ Edwards, he's also locked in. They're talking about trying to help us land some more players. Last guy's going to be Chris Stewart. It sounds like from the insiders, he won't be leaving the state of Texas, which is why I put him in red. So probably won't be landing him. But great job, I think, with this OV weekend. Things went very, very well. Maybe outside of the Tristan Keys thing. And I don't mean to be negative, but I'm just going to keep it real. That's the only player that I feel like, man, Tennessee really need to make a big push with that we didn't necessarily do. But, as long as we can hold on to these players for this last weekend, I think that this class with on three has a shot to be top 5, and there's still players from some previous weekends that Tennessee's still high up for them. Then we got next weekend. So we're going to do the whole thing, one more time, and we'll see where Tennessee ends up finishing things out. But I would anticipate that probably between now and this time next week, we might have a couple more players choose Tennessee. That would be huge. And, I think that we will end up finishing strong. We're going to get to this last chat right here. Saying it's 60 watching and 16 likes. Come on, y'all, do our man right. Thank you so much for that, Greg. Thank you. And thank you to everybody, too. Yes, please do hit the like button. That does help us out in a major way. I also want to say that P&I, we will be doing some different things, right? So shouts out to everyone that does like, that is subbed. Shouts out to, all the members of our YouTube channel. Y'all are huge. But we have we've got some other things that we're going to start on. We're going to have like some podcasts and all that coming out weekly, not with YouTube, but on some different sites. So keep an eye out on this channel for that. And we just want to add as much value as we possibly can, because P and I would love to be able to go full time with this, but we need for y'all to just keep on helping us out. So with all that being said, looks like we do have one more in here from Rick, saying that I didn't take Keys' interview from the weekend as ringing endorsement of Tennessee. Yeah, I you know what? And hey, we could all be off. I think that we all hope that we are off. Maybe he's trying to throw us off. And this right here from David, saying the 4-star wide receiver Travis Johnson is someone that we should swing on. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that the staff is going to swing on, everyone that they feel like we can land. It's very late in the game at this point, though. It's not going to stop us. But I think that there's some good ones that might not be as highly rated that Tennessee is in a good spot for. But anyway, y'all, I hope that y'all have a great rest of y'all's day. Again, please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see y'all tomorrow. Thanks. Peace.